Alright, so I'm working on this Cub Cadet here, and it's a pretty nice mower, the XT1 42 inch. Forgot what engine's in it, I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, a Kohler 5400 series, 18 horsepower. And I've worked on this thing quite a few times. Now, this thing, it belonged to a non-profit group. They have a horse ranch out there, and they work with kids that are, with social problems or, even epilepsy or, whatever. But they bring kids out there and let them, pet the horses and ride the horses, and it works wonders for them. It gets their confidence up, and the horses do great with them. And amazingly, one of the horses, while they're riding around, and they say this has happened a couple of times, but the horse, it's just like a dog. A horse, it senses when the kid's about to have a seizure, and it'll just stop dead in its tracks, right? And so if they're out riding around, going down a trail or something, if this horse just all of a sudden stops and stands there and won't move, then boom, that kid's about to, have a seizure or something, and they can go and take care of them. But the sad thing, like this one, they were trying to mow down an overgrown or dying out, those huge sunflowers that are 6-7 foot high and all that stuff, and they're going through that thing with this little mower, right? So I've worked on it quite a few times, and you can see here's the one of the pulleys where it just broke off. It sheared the bolt. Yeah, and there's even part of it laying there on the floorboard. It sheared the bolt, so luckily I'm just getting the bracket. This little piece flew off. So I can repair that. The time before, one of the stalks actually got underneath back here and threw the drive belt off, so I had to, get that back in place, bend things back together. But this is the only thing they have. They're trying to do quite a bit with it. And I was telling them, man, it's made to cut grass. It's not made for that thick stuff. You're gonna have to get something heavier duty, but it's not in their budget. So I'm still working on it. The sad thing is, about a week ago, I was gonna go pick this thing up and work on it for them. Turns out the night before I was gonna go out there, somebody broke into the place. 2 or 3 guys, I think they said about 3. And they stole a bunch of stuff, a lot of the horse equipment, the horse tack, and they found this mower out in a field, far from them, in the next property over. They'd cut the fence down in a couple of places, and they were trying to make it out of there with this thing. But it looks like, they had a flat tire. I forget what else. I'm just going to have to go through this and make sure no other damage, besides that the mowing deck. But yeah, that's a sad thing. At least they recovered this, but a lot of the other stuff, they took a lot of their horse equipment, and luckily none of the horses were damaged. Don't know if they caught the guys or not, because they even broke into the building and stole a bunch of confidential information, payroll stuff and IRS stuff. I mean, they're having to go through, and they're going through it, and it's too bad, because it is a non-profit, and they do wonders with the kids out there. So that's what I'm doing with this. I am going to, the parts should be here hopefully today or tomorrow, and it's just that one little belt keeper bracket and the bolt. I'd already cleaned it all off, and I'm going to go see on the front end, because it might have knocked it out of alignment, when they were going everywhere. But I'm going to try to get this thing fixed up for them and ready to roll. But I'm going to try to do it without charging them anything, since they are a non-profit. I mean, I'll do my part, but I'm hoping one of these days maybe I'll join in with them and do a crowdfunding thing or something, because they do need a bigger tractor, right? I mean, it is asking quite a bit, but when you see what they're all about and see their operation, the lady that runs the place, and there's some girls that are there, they're really, really nice people, and they're good people. So, well, that's what I'll be doing. Once the parts get here, I'll do the quick placement, repair it, and then bring it out there to them. Alright, so the parts finally got here. So here's the old pulley. Which goes on there with the washer. Then you insert the bolt. It's pretty easy. Well, here's that bracket too. And then the nut goes in under here. If you can see that. And there's the hole. So all this stuff, I still need to, I'll try to clean all this stuff. This stuff was caked on so thick, it was unbelievable. It was so thick that it was, that the blades were hitting it. And you can see the blades are pretty roughed up, so I'll be taking those off and sharpening them up for them. But first, let's get this pulley on. Making a mess here. Slides on. There we go. There we go. Easy fix. Alright, yeah, so these are, blades are pretty beat up, but the spindles are okay. That's good. And let's get that sucker off. Alright, let's get these off before my compressor turns back on. You can see I've got a couple of leaks in my line here. But there's one. Stuck on there. I need more air. Alright, so let's let's get these cleaned up and sharpened. I'm gonna get a wire brush after these things. These things are just caked on with all the crap that was, I guess it's a mixture of mud and horse manure. Alright, so let's do a quick check the balance on these real quick before I sharpen them up. And there's our blade balancer if you haven't seen that yet. This is something that I make here, patent pending actually, and you can see just laid on top, the little top of it there, it's a self-adjusting blade adapter. You set it down and then it compresses down, so you can see it's heavy on that side. Let's make sure, flip it around. Yeah. So this side's heavy on this one. Heavy on that side a little bit. Yeah, so they're both heavy on this side. This side not as much as this, but so let's sharpen them up and then check the balance again. You can see there's just a ton of nicks. These blades were put through the ringer trying to cut through all those old sunflower stalks. And they're pretty thick, you know. These weren't really made for that, but let's get it done. Alright, so there's the first pass. Trying to get a lot of the nicks and stuff off of them. It's probably still going to be out of balance though. Yeah, so let me work on this side a bit. Wonder how much of that is contributing, all the caked on crap on there. I tried to get a bunch of it off, but almost impossible. Alright, so I've been working on this side, and I was trying to get some of the caked on crud off of there also. I'm sure that's contributing to it. Yeah, there we go. Got it that time. Good, so let's work on the other one. Alright, so this side's the heavy side. Let's check this side. Just to double check. Yep, a little bit more. So I don't know if you've ever seen how this thing actually works. There's the balancer, and you can see how it just swivels back and forth. And there's the hole adapter, so when you place it over it, you see it covers that circumference, and then it just sinks down. It's spring loaded so that it'll, so if it's a smaller diameter up here, it'll compress down. If it's a larger diameter up to 1 inch, then it really just stays where it is. But that's the way it works. You just set it down and let it go. So this side is still a little heavy. Let's take care of that. All right, I think that's got it. Let's go to put these suckers back on. And I'll include a link, of course. I do make these here, and I sell them. So look at the link in the description, and it'll direct you over to my website. Alright, so the mower deck's back on. Looks like it's doing like it should. It's leveled out pretty good. And I wanted to take a look at the front end here, because I'm sure this went through some rough stuff. This had a flat tire. and you can see how this tire is just sticking way out, the toe's way off. And I was trying to get the steering wheel as straight as possible. It's pretty straight. This side looks straight, but this side is sticking way out on the toe. So to fix that, here's the tie rod end here, and it must have been bent or something when they were plowing through a field. Yeah, you can kind of feel it right in here. So it's bent up a little bit, but if you take it off, this linkage off, and then start turning this counterclockwise, let's see, does it need to be shortened, or it needs to be shortened, doesn't it? This needs to tighten up. It needs to start pulling it this way, pulling it in. So we'll take this off and adjust this down. Hopefully it'll be enough. Alright, can you see what I'm doing here? Here's the tie rod down to the steering linkage here, and the toe on this side is sticking way out. So I'm going to loosen this up, take it off, and then spin this clockwise to pull it in a little bit. So you can see when I'm pulling it in, it makes the wheel turn. So alright, so now I need to turn this clockwise. Let me see if I've got an open-end wrench that'll fit that. Yep. There we go. So that's the lock nut. Put that all the way back. And before I tighten it up, I want to start moving the wheel in. See, it moved in a little bit. And I think that will do it. Let me look at it from the front. Well, that's going to have to do it. I think that's all I can. That's all I can go, really. Can I go one more? Nope. Alright, let's tighten it back up. Alright, that's a little better. Looks like they're both out a tiny bit. But that is better than it was, I'm sure, when they were plowing through a field and they jumped through a couple of fences with this thing. And I'm sure it bent up. Yeah, you can kind of see where the mowing deck was a little bent too. So, well, I think she's ready to go. Alright, so I'm off to deliver the Cub Cadet. I hardly ever, rarely film where I'm going, but this is kind of fun. You can see it back there through the back window. But we should be there in just a second. Alright, so here it is, the entrance. You see some of the horse stuff. Barn's out in the back, and I guess I'll just drive all the way back there. Alright, I just pulled up, and there's the Cub Cadet, and you can see scanning around. There's one of the lovely ladies running the place. There's the stalls. Pretty neat little setup. They have all the corrals over there. There's a couple of the horses. Just too bad all this stuff is just under development, so it's kind of wide open. And I guess whoever broke into the place could see right in to what was going on, so they just kind of knew. And there they are. and there's the horses. So kind of a neat setup out here. And but let's unload the lawn tractor. We'll get started. In here? Here or here? Here?
The white one back there is Hope. She was on her jumper. So Cookie here was cow roping, and Sammy over there, the next one, Brown over, was doing showing. She was a show horse.
Awesome.
Cookie.
Yeah, my last interaction with the horse, I guess it was out here in Liberty Hill further. The guy has a ranch out there, so I was working on his mowers, the same thing. And at the time, I mean, this is an old Suburban, it's my farm truck, right? So the inside's, you know, cracked seats and all that stuff, and I left the window open. And I look over, and his horse had gone in there, stuck his head in, and took a bite out of my seat. I got to laugh so hard. I was like, well, I needed to reupholster it anyway, so that kind of forced me to do it. But I just walked over there, and what are you doing? And it's like he was laughing at me. He just took a chunk out of my seat. Yeah.
First day I've seen the wind blowing. Come here, Bella. Come here, Rossi. Hey.
Come here, guys. There you are.
Come here. So we always put our hands out and let them smell of us.
Yeah.
And then...
Oops. There we go.
This is Ross.
Yes, sir.
Nice sweet boy. What you doing?
Yeah. You're hungry, huh? All right.
Go back and grab some.
All right, so that was a quick tour. The Cub Cadet is delivered. We got to see the horses. They were too busy eating. I was hoping to get one to come over. But maybe another day I'll come out here. Maybe they'll give me a riding lesson. So feel free to get on their website and make a donation if you want, or get on my Patreon page. We can do it either way. You know, I would love to get enough to get them some more equipment as far as tractors go. They have that one little Cub Cadet trying to handle these horses and all this stuff with it, and it's like, man, they need something heavier duty. But we'll see about that. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.